Hello, friends. I am back again talking about the most sensational story in technology, if not the world, and that is that Sam Altman, the former CEO of OpenAI, is apparently going to be rehired less than 48 hours after being sensationally sacked from his position after what appears to be some kind of board coup, potentially, although we can't be certain, led by Ilya Sutskever, who is a currently heads up their alignment team, but is an incredibly famous scientist, researcher who was the man poached from Google by Elon Musk and Sam Altman. So it's an incredible story. It seems like the investors and the team have rallied around Sam, and it looks like he might be coming back. So, a quick reminder why this is such an important story. This company is the biggest sensation in technology, in computing, in capitalism for a generation. The kind of technology that we're talking about has the potential to become general intelligence, potentially super intelligence. And there are lots of people who will say that this kind of technology has the potential to destroy all of humanity. I don't personally believe that's going to happen because on the other side of AI is, of course, the idea that we could be heading for some kind of techno utopia where an insane amount of work gets done, medical science goes through the roof on an exponential of technological improvement, and we are all able to live the lives that we've always dreamed of. Anyway, back to the story. So I'm going to share my screen and talk about the first reporting of this story, which happened yesterday. The first people that reported this were The Verge. So let's take a look at that first. So you can see here, The Verge reported the story that the OpenAI board were in discussions with Sam Altman to return as CEO. According to multiple people familiar with the matter, these are all over X, as many of you will have seen. What seems to have happened is that the board had basically got rid of him on an incredibly short timeline. So he only found out about 30 minutes beforehand. His colleague, who was chairman, Greg Brockman, was also demoted and then chose to resign. What then seems to have happened is that researchers at the firm decided to leave to follow him. So you can see here, I'm going to share another tab now. Hopefully you can see that. I'll just check. So senior OpenAI researchers resigned. It's now being referred to as a crisis. And as you can see, this picture here is Ilya Sutskever, who is widely believed to have been at the center of all of this. Meanwhile, so the researchers were leaving. What also then happened, if I share another screen, was that Microsoft. So remember, Microsoft were heavily invested in OpenAI. They still are. And Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, also appears to have been blindsided by this. Now, you can imagine what a shock that would have been to one of the most powerful people in the world, and most powerful people in technology for sure, knowing that what appeared to be his golden goose was having its head chopped off, if that's not too awful of a metaphor. Microsoft are integrating GPT, OpenAI's product, into many of their different products now. They used it to really turbocharge Bing and to shake up the search world. It's a really important business for Microsoft. It's really turned the tables for them and put them in front of Google in terms of AI development. So clearly, Satya Nadella is not going to have been happy about this. And as you can see, Nadella and Microsoft do not want to lose Altman. This is from Dan Ives, by the way. Dan is a Wall Street analyst. So he says, Nadella and Microsoft do not want to lose Altman, which is the golden child of AI globally. And the growing consensus from Silicon Valley and Wall Street is that the days for this four-person board are numbered, and Altman will be back at OpenAI within the next 24 hours. So that is sensational. Lots of people are comparing this to Steve Jobs, who was sacked from Apple and then eventually brought back. But the time frame here is insanely short compared to that. Steve Jobs went away, created Pixar, and then came back. Here, this is an insanely short space of time. Now, the 4-person board that he refers to is Altman. In fact, no, it's not. The 4-person board is the board of directors. I don't have all of their names here, but the 4 people that are at the center of this, who I want to come on to talk about in a moment, are Altman, Brotman, Ilya Sutskever, who I've already spoken about, and Mira Murati, who is now the interim CEO. You can see here, she hasn't changed her title. And you can also see that she's replied to Sam Altman with a heart here. Now, she is not the only one to have done this. What has seemingly happened is that, as I mentioned, 3 of the senior researchers left. What then happened was that a load of other people on the team started quote tweeting this same tweet that Sam has put out. I love the OpenAI team so much. So this is Greg Brotman. He left in protest, but you can see here hearts. They were quote tweeting hearts. They all did it at the same time. These are OpenAI employees. So this was a wave of virtual love, an outpouring of love from the OpenAI team to Sam Altman. So it's a really crazy state of affairs because the team were clearly behind him. And so what you've got is essentially the board led by Sutskever getting rid of him, and then all of the investors started piling in. So you can see here, there's another story that I just want to quickly share. So where are we? So this one is via Bloomberg. So it's Rowan Chung. So the entire board could resign, and Sam wants Ilya gone, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has been in touch with Sam. So it appears that the board might go, Microsoft might get a board seat, and then the fight at the heart of all of this will essentially have been won by the accelerationists. So I released a video about this yesterday, talking about the conflict that appears to be right at the center of this, which is that you have the accelerationists led by Altman, who just want to keep going faster and faster. They are seeing what an impact this technology is having on the world. They're understanding the potential to change the world and potentially the potential to make money as well. And then on the other side, led by Sutskever, are the people who are saying, this technology is not ready to release to the world yet. It's dangerous and it has the potential to cause great harm. Now, I'm speculating here. Of course, Sutskever hasn't really said a great deal. He has responded to some OpenAI teammates and said that, you might describe it as a coup, but I would describe it as the board enacting the non-profit side of AI's original mission, which is to use general intelligence for the benefit of all of humanity. So his argument would presumably be that pushing ahead with increasing commercialization, as we saw on the developer day, is not in line with the mission that OpenAI was set up to achieve. Now, remember, when Sutskever was first brought in, that was a real coup. They were fighting really hard to bring him in because he is responsible for inventing really a lot of the technology behind this. So he clearly came on board for a reason, and that was to create AI for the benefit of humanity, and probably feels like it's now becoming far more commercial. Perhaps the relationship with Microsoft is getting too close, and it all potentially came to a head after one of two things. Either the developer day, where they were pushing the GPT builder, they're talking about this ecosystem of GPTs where people can create things and make money with them, much like the App Store that Apple released. Or there has been another real big technological breakthrough in-house at OpenAI that has basically scared Sutskever and excited Altman. So whether that's GPT-5, we don't know. Some people are speculating that potentially they have achieved general intelligence, which would be crazy. A lot of other people are kind of skeptical about that. In any case, it appears there has been some kind of focal point which has led to this explosion and this big split at the company. So we're just going to have to keep watching to find out what's going to happen next. It's really, really difficult to know, but it seems like Altman is coming back. VCs want him back. Microsoft want him back. The team want him back. So if he doesn't come back, you might see a huge exodus of researchers, developers, and funding away from OpenAI and into whatever Sam Altman decides to do next. He is the charismatic leader. The team clearly love him. Investors clearly love him. And he wants to accelerate into an artificial intelligence empowered future. And to be honest, by this stage, if OpenAI don't do it, somebody else will. Because as I mentioned in yesterday's video, this technology is actually pretty widely dispersed now. OpenAI did have a jump on everybody else. They did get there first, and they did create ChatGPT, which shook up the entire world. But now you're seeing many more different types of LLM coming out. That's large language model. And you're going to see more and more APIs built around them, which is going to create this ecosystem of intelligence, whether OpenAI like it or not, and whether OpenAI are at the forefront of it or not. So it'll be exciting, terrifying, who knows, to see what happens next. But it's starting to look now overwhelmingly likely that Sam Altman will return and that Ilya Sutskever is going to go. Whether the rest of the board go, we don't know. Whether Greg Brockman comes back, we don't know. What happens to Mira Murati, who is now officially the CEO of OpenAI, although she hasn't updated her profile yet and is tweeting heart emojis at Sam Altman. What will happen to her? We don't know. It initially appeared like she might have been part of this. She might have been working with Sutskever to remove Sam Altman because she knew about the change a day before. So and clearly didn't tell Altman. So it did seem at first like perhaps the conversation may have involved her. The conversation around ousting Sam Altman may have involved Mira Murati. But now, who knows? She hasn't come out and said anything other than that heart emoji. So it will be very interesting to see. The four of them at the top of this, Sutskever, Altman, Brockman, and Murati, almost certainly will not be a team anymore. And they really have been the dream team of Silicon Valley now for the last year. They have been all over the place. Murati was on the front page of Wired. Sam Altman is obviously giving talks everywhere. Sutskever was regarded as this genius, this scientific, brain box, genius. Let's stick with genius. He now presumably will have to go. I can't see them working together anymore, but who knows? I would love to hear what you guys think. That is all of the information that I can find at the moment. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and please do, keep coming back. I'll put more of these streams out if any more information comes to light. And please do let me know in the comments if you're enjoying them. The views seem to be pretty good. It's not something that I've done a whole lot of, so I'd really appreciate any feedback you've got because I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. I love this platform, and I find this whole AI revolution insanely interesting. As I've said before, it is the defining conversation of our time. It is a turning point in history. That may sound like hyperbole, but I really don't believe it is. This technology, if it does get to AGI level, if it does end up having agency in the world and can go out and act in the same way that a person does, then we'll really be living in a brave new world. Whether or not they've already created that brave new world internally and they're arguing over releasing it to the rest of us, who knows? It'll be super exciting to see. Anyway, that is it from me for today. As I say, please do comment. Please do let me know your thoughts and let me know if there's anything I've missed. I will be back for more streams, so stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.